right, so we're going to get started, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance with Kat Culkin, Navajo Republican Women's Federated. Thank you.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Raise your hand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have Teresa Cordina for the national anthem. Stay standing, please.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed.
Teresa, fantastic. And Steve Johnson's going to lead us in the invocation.
I just wanted to say that if you believe that we can do what we want to do without God's blessing, you're not right at all. So let's go ahead and lift up our time right now and honor Him. Lord in heaven, I just want to thank you so much for giving us this country that we live in, that we can change our leaders if that is necessary. And Lord, we just do feel at this time that there's just so much that's needed in that area. We ask for your blessing. We ask you to fill us with righteousness, to cleanse us, give us a clear mind, and Father, empower us to be involved in this election of the one in November so that you can receive the glory. I pray that you would just anoint the speakers that are going to be speaking today at this event. And Lord, we just want to turn over all the results to you. We trust you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Steve. All right, it's Armed Forces Day today. So all of you veterans and active duty military, we salute you. And Jan Iverson is here to do a special recognition of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is Armed Forces Day. It's a day made special by President Harry Truman in 1950. It was created to honor all the branches of the armed forces when they came under a single department, that is the Department of Defense. All the branches, Navy, Army, Air Force, and Marines agreed to combine their separate celebration and utilize a single day of celebration. The official day is established as the third Saturday in May. This is a day when we pay special tribute to and acknowledge the men and the women of the armed forces, all the individuals who are in the service of our country around the world. Armed Forces Day will not be a matter of parades and receptions for many of them. They will all be in the line of duty, and some of them may give their lives in that duty. President John Kennedy reminded us, guard zealously your right to serve in the armed forces, for without them, there will be no other rights to guard. And it was General Dwight Eisenhower who stated, "It is fitting and proper that we devote one day each year to pay special tribute to those whose constancy and courage constitute one of the bulwarks guarding the freedom of this nation and the peace of the world." Ladies and gentlemen, let us salute and pay tribute to those armed forces of the United States who stand on the wall and guard our precious country, our freedom, and our liberty. Thank you to them all.
Outstanding. Thank you, Jan. All right, so we're starting here. We've got a great core of volunteers that have put this together. Couldn't have done it without them. I wanted to say a special thanks to AAPS, American Association of Physicians and Surgeons. We have two key speakers here today who represent the AAPS, Dr. Wayne Iverson and Dr. Constance Uribe. I also want to do some special thanks to other volunteers, Jim and Carla Hancock of ABC Telecom. They provided the porta potties out there. Other volunteers, Joni Engelhorn, thank you, Joni. Maggie Acera, Donald Klaus, Bob Coleman's doing our videotaping today. Say thank you, Bob. And let's see, so many others to think of. Robert Linderman's is doing a list today of keeping a track of. Robert, yeah, thank you for raising your hand there. He's keeping track of the different list of those that want to stay on our distribution list. We're talking about doing one other Tea Party rally at the end of September, just before the November election. We've had quite a bit of feedback on that. Donations, we do still need donations. Jack, who's underneath the tree over here on the other side, Jack Ryland, he is collecting donations, and we've got water over there, so whatever donations you think you can give, it all helps. Every little bit helps, believe me. All right, so the Lane Street media. Just one question for all of you: is the Tea Party movement dead? The victory that just occurred in Indiana, was that an indication that the Tea Party movement is very much alive?
Yeah.
Richard Murdoch did defeat, I even forgot the guy's name. I guess it wasn't important, was it? He's gone. Anyway, I don't know about how you feel, but in terms of the Tea Party movement, it's going to keep growing and getting bigger. And I don't know about how you feel about the elected officials, but I am sick and tired of hearing excuses about the debt we're in. They're not doing anything about it. They're not doing enough about it, and I'm sick of hearing excuses about it. How do you guys feel? Same? Just a quick reminder, the basic beliefs of the Tea Party movement: freedom of the markets, insisting on a balanced budget, fiscal accountability, and a very strong belief that we must get out of debt now. Smaller government, and then we must stop this government with its out-of-control waste, fraud, and the ridiculous out-of-control regulations that government puts on business. And speaking of out-of-control regulations, putting government undue burdens on business, like the EPA. Do you know what words are a true misnomer that don't belong together? Common sense government. Those do not belong together. All right, we've got a tally going on the ballot. As we all know, Mr. Romney is going to be the nominee. If there are enough votes by the end of the Tea Party rally today, I will make a formal announcement of our endorsement for Mr. Romney if we get enough votes. Okay? All right, one last thing, and then Wayne Iverson will introduce our first speaker. I got a blurb from Jim DeMint, and there are those key victories: Murdoch in Indiana, Fisher in Nebraska, and now Ted Cruz is running in Texas. So do everything you can to get behind these candidates. These are the kind of candidates that will turn the tide in the Senate and in the House. It's a huge deal. Okay, and last but not least, before Wayne introduces our first speaker, we have these videos, Sick and Sicker in the back there. It's the antithesis to Obamacare. And what do they sell for $20, Wayne? Okay, so $20, and all the proceeds goes to the rally today. So any way you can help out over there, that'd be helpful too. All right, so here's Dr. Wayne Iverson. He will introduce our first speaker.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? That's great. That's great. Okay, well, we have Dr. Constance Uribe here. She came a long way, and she's going to talk about Obamacare, and she's going to give us an update on what we need to do to defeat this onerous legislation. Dr. Uribe has spoke with East County Tea Party in the past, and she did such a great job previously, we decided to have her come back and talk to us again. She's a physician with a surgical practice. She's a member of AAPS, and she serves on the National Physicians Healthcare Reform Speaker Team. She maintains close contact with AAPS CEO Dr. Jane Orient and AAPS past president Dr. Lee Eve on healthcare issues facing Americans. Her second edition of her first book will be out soon, and she's writing another book called Birth and Death of the American Physicians. Let's give a loud, warm welcome to Dr. Uribe.
I want to tell you how happy I am to be back here in San Diego. Actually, it's a way for my husband and I to cool off. Believe it or not, you have a nice warm day here, but it's warmer in Arizona. One of my colleagues in the surgery lounge one day said to me, he said, you know, he says, at least the Occupy Wall Street people, they have an agenda. They know what they want. Not like those Tea Party people who are just out there. They're so disorganized. Am I doing something wrong? Oh, closer. Sure. I'm going to stay close and personal. Okay, those Occupy Wall Street people, they know what they want. They have an agenda. The Tea Party people are just out there and they're so disorganized. And I said, okay, now let me get this straight. Now this is a very talented, very competent surgeon. I said, now let me get this straight. You mean defecating on police cars, destroying public property, raping, murdering, keeping people's businesses from staying alive, you approve of this? And he says, well, you know, at least they know what they want. They want to take down Wall Street. And I said, well, the Tea Party wants to lower taxes and maintain the constitutional foundation of our nation. And he says, yeah, that's what I mean. They don't have an agenda. This bothered me for a while until I started thinking about the way physicians think. And the bottom line is, the American doctor has a very strong mind that is kind of in an intellectual corner. And they all have very big hearts. But the fact is, they just don't get out much. And this is where our problem comes from. Physicians have a tendency to elect weak leaders. And the American Medical Association, the AMA, has been part of our problem. James Madera, who is the CEO of the AMA, has from day one supported the Affordable Health Care Bill. Even in 2010 and 2011, the AMA House of Delegates supported the health care bill. And what does this do for us? Absolutely nothing. We know in our hearts this is not a good thing. Patients know this is not a good thing. And yet the doctors, this organization that's supposed to be this wonderful thing, supports the health care bill. So what can we do about it? Well, there's this other organization, the AAPS, the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons. We are on the right track. We know that this is not a good thing. So, now the health care bill is in the hands of the Supreme Court. What's this going to mean? Well, let's say the Supreme Court invalidates the health care bill. Not a lot is going to change. And the reason being is that things like electronic medical records, which are, that's a violation of your rights under the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. That's not going to go away because that's not in the health care bill. That's in the stimulus plan. So that's going to remain. Things like the incentives, these meaningful incentives that the government has for physicians that can range anywhere from these dinky little rewards to heavy fines and in some cases jail time. That's not going to go away. The cumbersome problem of Medicare will not go away. So we're still stuck with some of this stuff. This is why it's important to put leaders in Congress, leaders like Dr. Iverson here, in Congress to help do away with this. Even if the Supreme Court invalidates the health care bill, Congress is going to go back to the drawing board to do what they can to try to socialize health care. The bottom line is, you folks probably know more about what's going on with health care in this country than your own physician. And it's important for you to educate your physician. You need to talk to them and ask them, are you a member of the AMA? Do you know what the AMA has done to you? Do you know what it's done to me and my health care? You need to ask them, are you aware of the AAPS and what it is trying to do for health care? Please get out of the AMA and join the AAPS. That's what you can do to help, because it all begins at the grassroots level. If I have the opportunity to speak to you again next year, I will be retired. I am leaving the practice of medicine, and the reason being, I can no longer deal with the regulations the government has imposed on me in my practice. My office staff is quitting as well. They do not want to be in the healthcare business anymore. They can't take it. And one of the reasons I'm leaving is because these are the only kind of stripes I want to wear. If I stay in the healthcare business, I will surely wind up in jail. You guys have a great afternoon. You've got some great speakers ahead of you. Thank you very much for having me again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Connie. I love her as a speaker. I love it. Now, this is the next speaker I love equally well. Nick Popovich, running for Congress. How many of you know this is the guy we need in Congress as opposed to that other Yahoo? Sorry, I gotta be careful. I'm so politically incorrect. What can I say? Nick Popovich.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out here, for giving up your time on a good Saturday. As you know, in my background, let me see how far away did I hold this thing? Closer. You know my background. I'm a Marine. As a Marine, I believe in simplify, always faithful. But one of my first mentors told me it's easy to talk about simplify in the middle of a sunshiny day. It's when you're down and out, when you're up against the wall, when you're at those 0400, 4 a.m. moments. Do you believe it then? Well, as our nation, maybe we're heading towards some of those 0400 moments, and you're out here today. You're out here giving of your time, giving of your effort, giving of your everything to come out here today to participate in the political process. And I'll tell you what an honor it is for me as an American to be out here among you. I believe in liberty. I saw it firsthand. When I saw people fighting and dying for freedom over in Iraq, I knew how special ours was here. That ours had been fought and paid for before I was ever even born, and had been cherished, passed down through all those generations, and brought down to us. And we safeguarded it so much that we took it to individuals across the world who've never known it before. And what an amazing thing, what an exceptional thing it is to be an American, to believe in liberty, to believe in freedom to that degree. I was wounded over there and I came home. I took up a life here in San Diego County. My wife and I and my children, we bought a home in Chula Vista, California. I started looking at our government because I had seen it already. When I was over there, people celebrated. When that dictatorship fell in Iraq, people celebrated. They rejoiced at the thought of freedom. And then those insurgents came in. And the first thing they did was they divided the people. They started dividing them along gender lines. started dividing them along religious lines, started dividing them along racial lines, started dividing them along ethnic lines, and convincing them to fight with each other. Now, there are political types in this country who are trying that here today with you. And what I would say as Americans, from one American to another, don't fall for it. United we stand. Don't let them divide us. We are a great nation, and we're greatest when we stand together. Do not let them divide us. Oh, I like that one. So I am Nick Popovich. I decided to get in the race because there's too much good things have been passed down to our generation, and it's time we stood up for them on our watch so that our children know the same liberty, the same prosperity that men of my generation, women of my generation knew in our youth. We are the custodians of that, to pass that down to that next generation. So what do I believe in? I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives in California's 53rd Congressional District. What do I believe in? It's the people's house. The U.S. House of Representatives is the people's house. Your congressman needs to be able to answer 4 questions. One is, what is the will of the people? Because trust me, you don't have to compromise when you're doing the will of the people. Secondly, it has to pass a litmus test. Is it constitutional? Is it moral? Is it ethical? And I tell you, they're getting the answer to all 4 of those questions wrong right now. That's why I'm going up there to change things. And what I'm going to take with me is the courage. The courage of a Marine, the courage of a Marine gunning. Because what they do, as soon as somebody tries to stand by those principles, they try and divide them. They try and pull them out. They say, just come on along. You got to compromise. I'm going to tell them no. And I'm going to tell those weak ones among you, dig in. Dig in. Where are you going? You're on the right side. Don't cave in. They need a gunny up there. They need a gunny up there to shepherd those loose ones and pull them back in and tell them, you do the will of the people. You stand by that oath. Because for me, as a Marine, as a man, as an American, when I raise my right hand and take an oath, that's absolutely what I mean. When I swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States, that's absolutely what I will do. When the people of this community give me the honor of representing, that's exactly what I will do. I don't know those types up there in Washington, D.C., and I don't plan on getting to know them. My friends live here. I will fight for you. But just saying no isn't enough. We got to get this thing back on track. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that with a balanced federal budget. And I tell you, as a congressman, I will dig in on that one. You want to pass a law? Fine. Show me how you're going to pay for it. You want to raise a tax? Fine. Show me how you're going to pay for it. Oh, you don't have a budget? Then you don't have a law. Shut up, go away, and make a budget. Now we're going to address both sides of that. We're going to cut spending, and we're going to raise revenue. We're going to raise revenue by growing the private sector, not by raising taxes, growing the private sector. And we can do that 3 simple ways. Ronald Reagan showed us the first one. We lower taxes, more revenue stays in our community, grows jobs. It's time tested, it's proven, it works, and nobody's going to convince me otherwise. But I think I'm preaching to the choir on that one. The second one, we're going to lower the cost of energy to improve manufacturing. How are we going to do that? We're going to reduce our dependence on foreign oil because we're going to get it right here in North America. We're going to bring it in from the Keystone Pipeline. We're going to start drilling in the Gulf of Mexico again. I'm tired of watching our government subsidize energy that doesn't work and regulate the ones that do. It's time we got that situation fixed. And finally, we're going to look at regulation. We're going to say, does this regulation protect workers on the job, because I think we need that on occasion? Or does it prevent workers from working in the first place? And that's a sort of regulation needs to go away. And finally, I am a Republican, and as a Republican candidate, I am so sick and tired of watching the other party pretend that they're the party of civil rights. Republicans, we are the party of civil rights. One set of civil rights for everybody. No more government pick winners and losers. And I'll use Obamacare as the best example of that. 600,000 car lots. It's either a law for all Americans or it's a law for no Americans. That's dirty legislation, needs to go away. Now, you're out here. And I tell you what, I'm going to close on this one story. When I was running the first time in 2010, people used to tell me about David and Goliath all the time. And I never really got the point of the story. Because when they used to tell me about it, I always used to think they were just trying to convince me that little guys can beat big guys. I knew that already. I didn't need to be convinced of that, and I never really listened to it. And it wasn't until I went back to the scripture and I was aided by some great ministers in our community and out of our community who showed me what that story was really about. David didn't fight because he was a little guy trying to defeat a big guy. He went out and fought because when he was on that field, Goliath was out in front of that Philistine army, and he was calling out the army of Saul, and he was defining them in a bad way. He was calling them names, saying, "You sorry individuals, you fight for Saul, you fight for this sorry guy." And David was so mad. At first he was mad at those individuals around him. He said, "How long have you been hearing this and none of you are stepping forward to take this guy down?" He was disgusted by the fact that the people around him were not standing up. And then he was mad. He was so mad that this sorry individual across him would try and define him. David said, "You don't know me. You don't define me. I define me. I fight for God. I fight for bigger things than you'll ever know. I fight for God. I fight for nation. I fight for core. I fight for Semper Fi." He was saying in his terms back then, fights for Semper Fi. So I know out here I'm honored. I'm honored to be addressing you here today because I know you are David. You've already got that. That's why you're out here. You stand for things bigger than that. You stand for things, and you know that the temporary setbacks like we may be going through right now do not define us as Americans. So I say, stand together, stand united. I'm honored to stand with you. Let's turn this country around, bring prosperity back, protect liberty for that next generation. I'm Nick Popovich. I'm running for Congress in California's 53rd. God bless America. Thank you for coming out today.
All right. Whoever the next speaker, it's always tough to follow Nick Popovich. Have you noticed that? Anyway, I wanted to mention also again that we do need, remind you that we do need donations. Remember that Jack Ryland's back over here for any donations for water or anything else. And also we've got the DVD, Sick and Sicker. Again, the answer, the antithesis to Obamacare. So we appreciate your support on that. They've got their hands raised over there in the booth. All righty, our next speaker. I met Dr. Wayne Iverson at the Tea Party Express in September 2009. I got to know him very well, and he has been on the leading edge to fight Obamacare. And he has a lot to say. He's running for Congress in the, let me see I get the right one right, 52nd District. Okay, Dr. Wayne Iverson.
Thank you, Barry. Say, I don't know about you, but I can never get enough of Nick Popovich. Can we give Nick Popovich another hand? Yeah, Nick Popovich is an American war hero, and he's running for Congress in the 53rd. And we want to get behind Nick every chance we get and do as much as we possibly can. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. This happens to be 62 years since the very first Armed Forces Day. And so we're celebrating that along with our Tea Party here. And I think that makes this a wonderful occasion. Don't you? Don't you think this is a wonderful occasion for Armed Forces Day? Yes. Okay, well, thank you very much, Barry Willis, for all of the work and effort you've gone through to put this Tea Party together. This is not a simple task. And thank you to all of the volunteers that help out. There's a lot of people doing other things to make this come off real good. Thank you, Jeff Farber, for your beautiful yellow truck and this great audio system. And then, well, once again, thank you for coming. I'm Dr. Wayne Iverson. I'm running for Congress in the 52nd District. I am a board member of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, AAPS, and we're co-sponsors for the Tea Party today. We've made contributions along with a lot of other generous folks, and that we were very happy with AAPS is getting behind all of this. Oh, okay, got it. And I'm also the California chapter coordinator for AAPS, and I rally the physicians in California and that. And I'm also the co-founder of the National Doctors Tea Party. We had that August 2010. I think a lot of the people that are here were there, and we had Roger Hedgecock, Sharon Engel. That was really a wonderful event. And that. So that's who I am. And I think we can all agree, as far as the President of the United States, I think we want to make Barack Obama a one-term president. Are we all in agreement on that? Yeah, I think we are. And now it's hard to know who's going to be the person challenging him. It looks like it's going to be Mitt Romney. And the thing is we've had a lot of presidential candidates go through, and we all kind of had our favorite guy, and then some people dropped out. But the thing I think we're all going to do is, I mean, if Romney is the guy who is the challenger, Barack Obama, I think we're all going to get behind Romney. Aren't we going to do that? Yeah. Now, I know there's some Ron Paul people here, because I saw a fellow walking around with a sign. Can we have a cheer for Ron Paul? Okay, all right, yeah, Ron Paul, he's a physician. He actually is a lifetime member of AAPS. We have 17 members on the board of AAPS, and the thing is, the board really loves Ron Paul. We also love Rand Paul. Yeah, we do. He does great in that. So let me just mention that you know, the speakers that we have today, we have a lot of candidates. These candidates are going to mention what their concerns are. Let me mention what my concerns are, and I have three concerns. One, Obamacare. Two, taxes. And three, career politicians. And let me just explain what my participation has been in this. As far as being a physician and a member of AAPS, we've done a lot to fight Obamacare these past 3 years. We've had the National Doctors Tea Party, and then we've had National Doctors Town Hall. AAPS is part of the Conservative Physician Association that has 8 amicus briefs in front of the Supreme Court. These are brilliant arguments telling the Supreme Court justices that Obamacare actually is going to hurt patients and is unconstitutional, and the Supreme Court justices are looking at that and listening to that. And AAPS has done other things as well. We've supported candidates for Congress in both houses in 2010. And for example, we supported, AAPS supported Nick Popovich, and our AAPS PAC was a donator to Nick during that election, and he's up for evaluation and consideration again this year. We also did multiple fundraisers for Sharon Angle and multiple tea parties with Sharon Angle, and she fought a very hard race in Nevada against Harry Reid, who is a very tough candidate. So AAPS supports good candidates who are conservative and who believe in traditional American values. So AAPS has done a lot. So at this point in time, we know that the Obamacare is on trial in front of the Supreme Court. Obamacare is not doing well in the Supreme Court, and I would forecast that Obamacare is going to be found to be unconstitutional in its entirety. Yes, that would be my forecast. And that. Now, should there be some kind of legislation from the bench, some kind of a quirk, where some of the judges on the Supreme Court are able to twist something one way or another, it could be that a remnant of Obamacare may remain. But the thing is if it does, Obamacare is going to be significantly changed from what it was originally intended when it was first launched and signed into law 2 years ago. So that's good news, that Obamacare is going to either be gone or significantly changed. And that's why I'm interested in trying to get good legislation in the future. We need good health care reform as we go forward, and that's why I'm interested in running for Congress. The second issue, taxes. This is really a big one, and this touches all of us. The Bush tax cuts were launched in 2001, 2003, and they had a sunset provision, and after 10 years they expire, so the Bush tax cuts are going to expire this year. What that means is there's going to be an automatic tax increase for over 115 million Americans. And that tax increase is going to be $1,700. It's going to be an automatic tax increase if we can't make the Bush tax cuts permanent. So that's something that's facing us, and that's something we've got to get a number of conservative people in Congress to try to work on that issue as well. But I think you've probably noticed that the folks on the left of center are very interested in taxes at a variety of levels. For example, on the death tax, it's already been partially implemented. They want to bring it back more fully. And then the marriage penalty tax, they're looking at trying to get that going again. And so there's a wide variety of taxes that the Democrats are very interested in bringing in at a federal level. And then at a state level, we know that Governor Brown wants to increase taxes in the state of California. So there's a lot of pressure on the grassroots people, ordinary Americans, and we're going to be forced to pay some additional taxes, and that's why we need to get good candidates in Congress at the federal level, at the state level, to make sure that we can hold back on the taxes. And then then the third thing that I'm concerned about is the career politicians. And I think that the problem with the career politicians is what we would really need is we need civilians to go back and go to D.C. as congressmen, as U.S. senators, and we need to get rid of the career politicians. And then we need ordinary folks back there, folks with skills, folks with track records of serving the community. Those are the kind of people that we need in Congress, and those kinds of people will serve us well. The problem that we have with the career politicians, we've all seen this, it's called crony capitalism. We all know how that works. The people back there in Congress, not only the Democrats, the Republicans do this too. They play let's make a deal, and the thing is they do it at our expense. That's one of the reasons why we have so much trouble now, and that's one of the reasons why we have a deficit of $15 trillion, and that's why we have so many difficulties in this country. So career politicians are giving us a lot of trouble, and we need to replace the career politicians. So those are my three concerns, and the thing is and I've got good news, and here's what the good news is that even though we're facing very difficult times, and the economy is so bad, and unemployment is so high, we do have a model for fixing this. We do have a model for improving things in this country, and it's Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan had been here before, and President Reagan's principles apply to today. And Reagan's principles, if implemented, can fix the problems we have. And what it is it's a smaller federal government, it's less federal regulations, it's lower taxes, it's by allowing free market solutions in businesses create the jobs and the economy and produce the economy. And it's so we can have our peace through strength, and that was one of Reagan's principles as well. So that's where we need to go. I'm Dr. Wayne Iverson. I'm running for Congress in the 52nd District. And once again, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. Thank you for being patriots, and thank you for supporting the East County Tea Party in today's event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wayne Iverson. All right. How many of you happen to know that there is a Jewish Tea Party movement? Any of you knew that? See your hands. Okay, not too many. All right, I had the great fortune of meeting Robert Linderman when we were working precincts together in 2010, right, Robert? And then we teamed up again, good old Facebook, right? So Robert Linderman is going to bring us up to date on the Jewish Tea Party of America and the Republican Jewish Coalition. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Barry. Very few people here know me, and also very few people know who I represent, because, let's face it, the people in the Republican Jewish Coalition and the Jewish Tea Party of America, we love Christians, we love Israel, and we love the United States of America. And we will do anything for our country, because we're Americans first, but we're Jewish, that's our religion, and unfortunately, since FDR and the New Deal, it's been about 80+% of the people in the Jewish religion, they vote liberal, they vote Democrat. And in 2008, when Barack Obama was elected, he had 78% of the Jewish vote. 78%. Can you imagine having 78% of anything in an election? But he had 78% of the Jewish vote. As of January, that number has gone down to 62%. And that is the reason why I'm here talking to you today, because there's an old country music song, I was country when country wasn't cool. Well, right now, being a Republican and being a conservative is cool, and starting to get real cool in the Jewish religion, and I think that's very, very cool. Do you realize in 2008, 25% of all Barack Obama's money that he raised for his campaign came from Jewish people and Jewish donors? That is going down big time, and it is our goal on election day on the 6th of November this year that number is 50-50, and wouldn't that be something? And it's moving in that direction real fast. You see, the new president of the United States is not going to bow down to the Emperor of Japan, and he's not going to bow down to the King of Saudi Arabia, and he's not going to bow down to anyone, not even the Burger King. He's going to be our president, and he's not going to be the first president or the second president who's going to bow down to any world leader. He's going to serve the people, and that's very important, and that's what we believe in the Republican Jewish Coalition, and especially the Jewish Tea Party of America. So it's very important that we take these values, our Tea Party values that are very near and dear to our heart, the same Tea Party values that every single person here has, and we follow them. The only difference that we have is we also support Israel, because we don't want to see a divided Israel. We've been divided one time too many in the Holocaust, and we don't need to be divided again. Israel should never be divided, and it needs to be a place where Christians and Jews and even Islam can worship free without any machine guns pointed at their heads, and in a place where you know, everybody, where it was intended to be. It's called the Holy Land for a reason, and we don't want someone to come in there and once again, before May of 1948, dictate what should happen. So this is what we believe in with the Jewish Tea Party of America, and we follow the Tea Party values. We want a smaller government. You know, it's really incredible. Here I'm holding a $5 bill in my hand. The inflation, it's really gone up. But our great President Ronald Reagan, back in the early 1980s, and I'm sure everybody in this area here remembers that speech that one night that he gave on national TV when he pulled a dollar bill out. And this thing doesn't have any instructions on it or anything, but it's been constantly abused by our government and our leaders, especially over the last few years. And it's about time we get fiscally responsible people that actually take this document right here, this official document that means so much to our people, and make it worth something again. And with working, all of us working together, and all of us working as Christians and as Jews, we can make this thing happen. I'm not running for anything. I'm supporting all the people who come up on this podium today, and I will continue to. Also, I would like to meet every single one of you. I'm taking people's information down, and it's not going to be sold or given out to anybody. It's so we can inform you about what's going on in our regional Tea Party events, so we can send you video emails, we can do video conferences with you, and you can be informed, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most important election day of our lives coming up, not only on the 5th of June, but on the 6th of November. And the most important thing that everybody can do right now is to ensure that we vote, and we take that viral marketing, that word-of-mouth marketing, and make sure everybody that we know votes. And that way, this $5 bill will be worth $5 when this is all over with. And when we bring great people and Tea Party values and Constitution-loving people back to Washington and Sacramento and San Diego and El Cajon, it's so important. And the final thing is, let's ensure that this is the last Armed Forces Day in all of our lives that we have to say the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America is Barack Hussein Obama. Thank you very much. I'm Robert Linderman.
Thank you, Robert Linderman, Jewish Tea Party of America. Thank you very much. Let's give a good hand to Roger. Sorry, Robert. Thank you. Okay, just a little info commercial here. Once again, we're selling these DVDs. It's called And this is when the government becomes your doctor, and this is the counterpart to the Michael Moore movie Sicko. The reason why we're selling these is we got these free from AAPS. We're selling them for $20 a piece. Any money that we receive on this, penny for penny, this is going to go back to the East County Tea Party to help defer our expenses today. So, and if there's any money left over for that, we're going to keep it again for next year. But there probably won't be. Than that. So anyways, you can buy a DVD and help out the East County Tea Party on expenses. Okay, let's see. Our next speaker is Jim Miller. He's candidate for the Superior Court Justice in the 25th seat. Jim?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pretty nice day in El Cajon, isn't it? My office is across the street, so I didn't have very far to travel this afternoon. Thank you for coming out. The court system, San Diego Superior Court System. There's three judge candidates that will be speaking today. I'm the first, so I get to lay some of the groundwork. We have the third largest trial court system in America, in San Diego. Third. These are a couple of facts I want you to keep in mind as we move forward and think about who you want to vote for judge. Within that third largest trial court system in America, we have 5 areas of law. Not 1, not 2, 5. 5 are criminal, and most people think about that. Civil, most people think about that. Family, juvenile, and probate. People seem to forget about juvenile and probate on a regular occasion. Why is it important to know about judges, and why is it important to know about the court system when there's 5 areas of law? The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is our judges rotate departments and assignments over the course of their career. You can be a judge sitting in criminal for 2 years, then they move you to civil for 3, and they put you over in family for 5, and then you do a tour in probate. Why is that important? Let me tell you why. 90%, it's actually a little bit higher than that, but 90% of our judges currently come from the government. Deputy district attorneys, deputy city attorneys, assistant U.S. attorneys, that list goes on. These gentlemen and ladies who become judges out of the government, I'm not saying that they don't work hard, I'm not saying that they're not bright, but there's a different level of experience when you, as myself in private practice, have handled cases and represented clients, represented people, represented businesses and families in all of those areas of law as a lawyer. It is called the practice of law for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want your judge in your divorce case or your child's custody case or in your business litigation case, do you want them learning on the job at your expense? No, you do not. You want a judge that has some experience in these areas of law. I am the only candidate who's had the experience in all 5 divisions of the San Diego Superior Court in his career, runs his own practice. Now let's take another look at what a judge experience and criteria should be. I have sat as a judge pro tem since 2008. That means I am authorized by the court and trained by the court to sit as a temporary judge. I've been an arbitrator with the Better Business Bureau and the State Bar Association since 2001 and 2006 respectively. Because there's a difference in being a litigator and winning a case and knowing how to step back from that case and decide the case fairly, evenly, and on the United States Constitution and on the state Constitution. Subservient statutes to the United States Constitution and the California Constitution cannot stand with a proper challenge. I will tell you this, I have had cases in federal court, U.S. Constitution cases, and I've won. Because if you stand on the Constitution, you're not going to be wrong. Now, I'm running for judge. We don't make a lot of flowery political speeches. We don't talk about, we're going to promise you this and I'm going to promise you that. What I'm going to promise you is that I have an experience, education, training, and temperament to listen to both sides and to render a fair verdict. Criminals will be punished in my courtroom after they're found guilty. I will tell you that straight now. But let's be honest. The bottlenecks in our court system are not criminal. Crime's going down. The bottleneck is in family law. 4,000 cases per single department. That's a single judge to handle. 1,000 cases in civil. Do you think the new judges are going to go to those criminal departments? No. Why? 90% of the judges are already criminal specialists out of the DA's office, city attorney's office, assistant U.S. attorneys. They're already vying for those spots. I'm going to help you, the citizen, in your family law cases, your civil cases, maybe probate, maybe juvenile, but I'm going to be there representing our community. That's the right thing to do. I'm not seeking a second pension, as my government opponents are doing so. I'm not seeking to increase my pay. I'm not looking to retire anytime soon. I'm looking to serve my community. I sit on the board of directors for Sharp Grossmont Hospital. I'm very proud of that work. I've raised and helped raise $13 million for our local hospital in the last 3 years. I don't do that for any other purpose than to give back to our community. I sit on Marshall Falk's foundation. Who here remembers Marshall Falk from San Diego State NFL football? Marshall and I were athletes at San Diego State together. Marshall had me sit on his foundation. We give back to inner city youth, Jackie Robinson YMCA, San Diego State Scholarship Fund. It is important for a judge to not be looking at a public paycheck, but to be looking at public service. And that goes beyond sitting on the bench. I promise you I will continue those endeavors. If you want to look at philosophical, political lines, I am endorsed by the San Diego County and the California State Republican Party. I'm very proud to have those endorsements. I'm endorsed by the San Diego Lincoln Club, which did a tremendous vetting job by their lawyers and judges in their organization. I'm the highest rated in my race candidate on JudgeVoterGuide.com. That's Craig Huey's organization, who rates all of the trial court judges. JudgeVoterGuide.com, take a look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, judges in the 3 areas of our government, executive, legislative, and judicial, the judges, ladies and gentlemen, are the final check and the final balance. Know who you're voting for judge. Spread the word. You have an alternative to just another cookie-cutter DA in my race, or a cookie-cutter city attorney, or a cookie-cutter U.S. attorney. You can vote for a gentleman who has broad-based experience. Wherever they put me, I'll be able to help our community. Jim Miller for judge, seat 25. The other gentleman that will speak today, I am not running against them. Let's be very clear. I'm running for seat 25. It is a county-wide election. El Cajon, Julian, all the way to Vista, Oceanside, down to San Ysidro. I'm not running against anybody else who will speak about judges today. I'm running against a DA and a city attorney. I need your help. In 2010, when I ran, I lost by 1.8%. Let me say that again. 1.8% in 2010. In the county-wide election, I received 312,000 votes and came up just shy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to finish with this. If you do the math, all I need is 1%. That puts me over the top. That tips our scale. Find me that 1%. And I'm not talking about Occupy San Diego 1%. I'm talking about 1% of hardworking citizens of this community to help another hardworking citizen of this community become a judge. Jim Miller for judge, seat 25. Thank you for your time. God bless.
All right, is David Berry here yet? I've been asking for David. Okay. We'll move David ahead, and then I had the good fortune of meeting Gary Creep over the phone. He's another candidate. I am so glad that we are meeting. I never knew who to vote for judge, so it's so nice to meet some of these judges in person. So, Gary Creep.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not used to using a microphone, so we'll see how that works. Jim was wrong on one thing. He should have said he's the only non-government attorney running in his race, because he and I are the only non-government attorneys running for judge, period, in San Diego County. Jim and I have pretty much the same background. We've done everything that a Superior Court judge will do. I'm another one facing a deputy DA. The difference is Jim has 2 opponents, so his election will probably be determined in November. I'm facing 1 opponent, so my election will be determined on June 5th. So, why should you vote for me? Well, I'm a private attorney. I've spent 36 years in practice doing family law, probate, conservatorship, criminal law, juvenile law, everything a Superior Court judge has done or will do as a Superior Court judge. Excuse me. The other difference, the main difference, is who's supporting me. I'm supported by State Senator Joel Anderson, by former Assemblyman from out here, Steve Baldwin, former Assemblyman of State Senator Ray Haynes, Christian Coalition, California Republican Assembly, Fallbrook Tea Party, Tri-City Tea Party, Sam Abed, the conservative mayor of Escondido, and a host of other Republican activists, some of whom can't publicly say anything because of party rules. My opponent is backed by the homosexual organizations in the county. He is backed by the public employees unions. He is backed by the liberal downtown power structure who wants to keep control of all the judges in San Diego County. I don't know if Jim mentioned it, because I got here, I was here on time for my speech, but some people didn't show up, so I went on early, and so did Jim. I don't know if Jim told you, but there's actually a political action committee dedicated to electing deputy DAs to the judges. And about, as Jim did say, I heard, about 90% of the judges are all former government employees. Now, who do you think they're going to be supporting when it comes down between the citizenry and the government? Number one. Number two, they're not getting all this support from the Public Employees Union for no reason. There's a reason for that. My opponent's campaign actually attacked me for supporting Proposition 8, and I plead guilty. I'm one of the legal team that's been defending Proposition 8, the traditional marriage initially voted on by all of them in court, both in the federal level and in the state court level. They also attacked me and said that my opponent needed to be elected because I'm a conservative, and yes, I'm guilty. I'm a traditional conservative. I've spent 36 years in court defending your rights, and let me tell you how. I run a nonprofit legal organization. I'm in court defending the Constitution on almost a daily basis. Let me tell you about 3 cases. Number one, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the indefinite detention provisions of the National Defense Authorization Act that Obama signed in January. I was part of the legal group that just got an injunction against those indefinite detention provisions, a nationwide injunction issued by a federal court judge this week. Now, that's an important protection for all of us who believe in free speech. And the judge who issued it was an Obama appointee. That's how bad that law is. Second, this week we got an appellate court decision in a case that my foundation funded back in Connecticut, where a Tea Party leader was taken into custody simply for being a Tea Party leader. The Obama administration had put him on a domestic terrorist watch list, such as they talked about in 2009 when the Department of Homeland Security issued its right-wing extremism report. His guns were confiscated. He was taken before a judge, not allowed to have an attorney, and he had his Second Amendment rights taken away. After over a year of fighting, we just got his Second Amendment rights restored this week by a Connecticut State Appellate Court. That's another great victory for the Second Amendment. Then the Stagmeyer case out of Montana, where a business owner is in federal prison right now because he had a weapon in the mobile home that he had on a work site because he let an employee stay there. And the employee had a criminal record, which the employer didn't know. So he is now in federal jail on a federal firearms conviction simply because he had a weapon in his mobile home parked on his job site where he was doing contracting work. We're involved in trying to get that man out of jail right now. These are the types of things that I do every day. These are the types of things I've done for 36 years. When I go and become, if you support me and I receive the proper number of votes, a San Diego County Superior Court judge, I'll be there to set law the right way. I'll be there to make sure that your constitutional rights are protected. I'll be there to make sure that the government follows and does what they're supposed to do, not just ramrods all over all of your rights. I've done everything, as I said, I've done everything that a judge will do as a Superior Court judge. I'm running for Department 34. My name is Gary Creep, K-R-E-E-P. It's an unusual name, I understand. But you can understand with growing up like with a name like that, I learned two things early on: how to fight my way out of trouble and how to talk my way out of trouble. And I've been doing both for a long time. Now, I'll be glad to answer any questions if anybody has. I don't know how much time I have left. Okay. Let me talk about some of the other things that I've done in the past few years. Besides defending Proposition 8 in federal state court, I'm involved in defending the Defense of Marriage Act in the First Circuit Court of Appeal back in the Northeast. I've been involved with Gun Owners of America, who I've represented a number of times in cases. I've been endorsed by Gun Owners of California, which is their local group. I've been endorsed by State Senator Tony Strickland, who's a well-known conservative activist all over the state. I've been there with these people for decades working to protect you. The reason why I've gotten conservative endorsements and my opponent has not is because he's a lifelong Democrat, recently turned Republican, who has never been active in any conservative group, never been active in any conservative activities, never even been active in Republican activities, much less conservative activities, never made a reportable donation to any entity. Someone who, this job, if he's elected Superior Court judge, it will be an upgrade for him. He'll make more money. He'll also be able to draw on 2 pensions because he'll get his pension as a deputy district attorney. He was a criminal defense attorney before that, but he's been a prosecutor for 28 years. He'll get that pension, plus he'll get his salary as a judge. Then he'll be able to draw a pension as a judge. So we're actually talking about triple dipping. I've been in private practice all of my life. I don't have a government pension. I don't have anything that's going to help me to be there for anybody. I don't owe anybody anything. I'll be there because I want to do the right thing for the people. I've seen how bad it is for deputy district attorneys who are judges. I was in court in Vista on a family law matter a couple weeks ago. I went before the judge to make a very common request in family law. He looked at me and said, "I have no idea what you're talking about. He just got transferred in. He's been a judge for 2 years, knew nothing about family law. He had spent 2 years in civil law, and he was learning family law on the dime of the people that were appearing before him, or on the dime of the people who were paying attorneys to appear before him." That's not what you want. You want people like Jim Miller and myself who go in there ready from day one to handle all cases. As a judge pro tem, I've heard over 1,000 cases, and I've served as a family law settlement judge in North County for several years, and I also used to arbitrate fee disputes between attorneys and their clients. I guess my time is up. Thank you very much. God bless.
Just a quick mention, your affiliation with the APS. Have you done stuff with us before?
Oh, yes. I have worked with Jane Orient for years and Andy Schlafly. I've known Jane Orient, who was the former head of AAPS and is now on your board of directors, the CEO, and wonderful woman, but I've known her since the 80s and worked with AAPS and Andy Schlafly on many projects, so thank you very much. Thank you, Gary.
Running for the Superior Court Justice seat 34, and now we have David Berry, candidate for Superior Court Justice, running in seat 34. David Berry.
Good afternoon. My name is David Berry. I'm running for San Diego Superior Court Office number 24. I am not running against Jim Miller. I am not running against Gary Creep. My opponent isn't here today. My name is David Berry. I'm running for San Diego Superior Court Office number 24. I believe the people of San Diego County have the right to elect judges who are experienced, ethical, hardworking, who will uphold the Constitution, follow the laws, and protect this community. I'm endorsed by the Republican Party of San Diego County, the State Republican Party, the Fallbrook Tea Party, and the Tri-City Tea Party, along with many of the leaders of our community. My name is David Berry. I'm running for San Diego Superior Court Office number 24. With your help, and I know this, only with your help, the men and women who take the time on a Saturday afternoon, with your help, I can be elected, and I can use my experience, my integrity, my work ethic to be an experienced, ethical, hardworking judge who will uphold the Constitution, follow the laws, and protect this community. I've been protecting our community for 25 years as a deputy district attorney. I've handled thousands of felony cases. I'm in court every day, literally every day, doing the work of the people of the state of California. I've handled thousands of cases, rapes, robberies. I've handled murder cases. I've done 14 different murder cases to trial, including death penalty cases. I'm there representing the people of the state of California, protecting our community every single day, and I'm proud to do it. And I hope with your help to go on and do it as a Superior Court judge. I'm endorsed by every major law enforcement organization in the county and the major crime victim organizations in the state because they know I know how to protect our community. And I care about our community. I'm involved with the YMCA. I'm on a board of management of the local YMCA. I'm involved with my church, and I've taught faith formation at my local church. And I'm involved with the Boy Scouts because I know it's important. The young men grow up morally straight and have the good moral background to help them in the challenges that life brings us. I'm endorsed by most of the major community leaders. I'm endorsed by Congressman Duncan Hunter, by Senator Joel Anderson, by Assemblyman Brian Jones, and I'm proud to have their endorsements. With your help, I will be elected to the Superior Court, and I will be a judge who upholds the Constitution, follows the laws, and protects this community. Now, I'm going to be around for the next few minutes. I'm going to hand out my materials. I hope you all have a chance to talk with me, and I know I don't get elected unless I get your help. If I can earn your support and the support of the people that you talk to, then this is going to happen, and we're going to get some good judges on the bench this time. Thank you very much.
Well, there's 3 judges that have my vote. All right. How many of you know that what's going on in Wisconsin right now is critically important? Ruth Weiss is over in Wisconsin right now helping protect the integrity of the vote in Wisconsin. Ruth Weiss does so much, I cannot put it into words. Now, since Ruth is not here, how many of you know the integrity of our vote is important? And we've got a prepared statement. Eric Shaler is coming. Schaller, sorry. Eric Schaller is coming up. He's got a prepared statement on voter integrity, a very important subject.
Thank you, Barry. As I said, yes, I'm here for Ruth Weiss, and I'm not going to talk to you about candidates, but about organizations. The first one is Independence Caucus, or iCaucus. iCaucus vets and endorses fiscally and ethically principled, constitutionally conservative candidates. Currently endorsed by iCaucus for the primaries in Assembly District 34, Shannon Grove. Assembly District 40, Mike Morrell. AD 59, Tim Donnelly. Marie Waldron, Assembly District 75. Congressional Districts, Rick Tubbs, District 3. Marilyn Singleton, District 13. Chris Pareja, Congressional District 15. Mark Reed, Congressional District 30. John Stahl, Congressional District 52. Nick Papadich, Congressional District 53. For Superior Court Judge, Jim Miller.
Very good, very good. Happy Tea Party.
All of these individuals have been thoroughly vetted, interviewed, and endorsed. We can be sure of the character of these candidates. J.C. Watts, the black Republican congressman from Oklahoma, said, character is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. There are too many people who think that the only thing that's right is to get by, and the only thing that's wrong is to get caught. That's not the representatives we're looking for. Okay. Ruth's organization is the Election Integrity Project. It's a nonpartisan organization, works proactively and defensively to prevent voter fraud and other anomalies that threaten the integrity of the election process. Just yesterday, it was announced that 50,000 voters had been found on the Florida rolls that were deceased. 50,000 dead voters. So this is really, really important to keep an eye on these rolls and the registrar of voters. One aspect of the defensive strategy is to train and place poll observers at key locations and precincts to ensure that the laws are being followed and to stop any irregularities in progress by seeking appropriate intervention. Contact the registrar, precinct controllers, and have inappropriate conduct stopped. To date, over 250 poll workers have been trained in the last 3 weeks. It's a lot of people, it's a lot of coverage, that's a great start. We still have time. El Cajon trainings have passed, but we still have an opportunity to join the one remaining training. That's going to be held up in Poway, a week from tomorrow, Sunday the 27th. If you'd like to help, please stop by the booth over here underneath the light poles, Election Integrity Project, and Independence Caucus. Additionally, we're already recruiting poll workers for November. So come by the table, leave your contact information, even if you're unavailable for June 5th, there's always November. Another avenue to help out, in the registrar's office, signature verification. That's very important. Over 50% of the votes are now coming in by mail. Those signatures have to be verified. Over at the table, you'll find brochures about the Election Integrity Project. And also there's a flyer, if you can, you should rethink voting by mail. It's just one more avenue for fraud. It's a lot safer, or your vote is a lot safer if you can possibly vote in person. I'd like to thank you all very much for being here, and we hope to see you over at the Election Integrity Project Independence Caucus table. Thank you again.
Thank you. I'd like to encourage everyone to support the Election Integrity Project and go over to their table and say hi to Ruth Weiss and her husband. He's over there as well. And I'll tell you a little story. A year ago, I was fed up with the voter fraud that I saw in the 2010 elections. My wife, Jan, and I supported, as I mentioned before, Nick Popovich in his election in 2010. We supported Sharon Engel in her election, and in both of those races, we think that there was voter fraud involved. And a year ago, I finally said, that's it. I had it. I can't stand this voter fraud. So True to the Vote had a national meeting out in Houston. This was April last year. They had 150 people attend from 27 states, and I went there and they set us by states, and there was 2 different tables that we had there, and at that time I had a chance to meet Ruth Weiss and her husband, and I knew that they were very much involved here locally in trying to combat voter fraud. So we've got some real patriots here today fighting voter fraud, and we get behind our candidates. We try to get our candidates elected, but cutting voter fraud out, that's part of the process we have to go through now, and so this is very important. So in any case, turn it back over to Barry.
Good afternoon. Whoa. Hey, the volume's working very well here. Okay. We're a little bit ahead of schedule. We're missing Joel Anderson, and we're missing Brian Jones, so we're going to move ahead a bit. One of my favorite all-time persons I have a lot of regard for is Chuck DeVore. And Chuck DeVore is very highly of Dan Hughes. So if Chuck DeVore says that, I'm on board. So I wanted to introduce you to Dan Hughes, who's a local businessman in Oceanside, and I want you to hear from him. Dan Hughes for U.S. Senate candidate.
Thank you very much, Barry. I appreciate it. My name is Dan Hughes, and I'm running for U.S. Senate to retire Dianne Feinstein. All right. I came to the right place. We have a leadership crisis and a moral crisis in this country, and it's led to an economic crisis. And I have the courage, the will, the strength, the moral and principle-centered foundation, and the leadership depth and experience to go to Washington to restore our freedoms, to return to the free market, to reduce and eliminate our debt, and most importantly, to go back to following the Constitution. Now, as Barry had mentioned, I've got the support of Chuck DeVore, and I also have the support this weekend. I pick up the support of Darrell Issa and a number of Tea Party groups throughout the state. So I have a few minutes here. I'd like to talk about a couple platform issues and then tell you a little bit about myself and what qualifies me to fill our leadership and moral gap in this country. The first platform issue is the end of the career politician. Our leaders in Congress have on average 27 years in office. The leaders of the House and the Senate and the chair people of all the committees. The average person in Congress, the average member of Congress has 10 years in office. And so I'm proposing term limits of 12 years to allow our legislators to go to Washington, get up to speed, serve their constituents, and then go back home into their communities, the way that our forefathers intended it, the return of the citizen legislator. No pension benefits. It shouldn't be a career position. I commit to you I will not accept a pension, and I will not accept any benefits that are extraordinary and above what you and I as ordinary citizens get. The second platform issue is tax reform. And we all know that we have a 100,000-page tax code that makes us uncompetitive and picks winners and losers, and it's getting in the way of our businesses from being successful and from hiring. Yesterday was a great day for me. I've been talking tax reform for a while now. We need to wipe out the existing tax code and replace it with a flat tax or a fair tax or 999. I happen to be a fan of 999. But yesterday, Dave Camp out of Michigan, who is the congressman on the Ways and Means Committee, has finally stepped out and said, let's quit talking about the Buffett rule. Let's quit talking about even the Bush tax cuts. Let's quit wasting our time on those small issues and wipe the whole thing out and replace it wholeheartedly. The clearest path to prosperity, the easiest way to get growth in our country right now is to either put a flat, fair, or 999 tax plan in place. The sooner the better. We'll get back to 6 to 8% GDP growth. So now to let you know a little bit about myself. I talked about the moral crisis. And I firmly believe in the morals of personal responsibility and personal accountability. We've lost sight of that in this country. The best example of that in my life is that when in 2004, when I was out of work, living paycheck to paycheck, had a mortgage to pay, 2 babies at home, a wife to support, a place that far too many Californians find themselves today, I did what I always do. I looked in the mirror and took responsibility for the place that I was in. I didn't blame, I didn't complain, I didn't look to the government to bail me out. I took responsibility. I found a job in a small business with a handful of employees, and a year and a half later, I joined the endangered species list in California, small business owner. I bought the business, and now, today, over the last few years, have built it up to 100 employees throughout California. We do services to hospitals. So I know how jobs are created. And it isn't government who creates jobs. It's you and I and your friends and neighbors and your sons and daughters. We have to get government out of the way of private enterprise. We became a great nation by creating 160 million private sector jobs over the last 100 years, by getting government to set up a framework for that and not get in the way of it. I've been a leader my entire life. My first job out of college was supervising 50 UAW workers twice my age on the midnight shift in a General Motors factory. And I've been deep in leadership ever since. And through that leadership, I've led and I've seen people can and will rise to the occasion every time if given the opportunity. I also believe that people can and will live off the government system if given the opportunity. And that robs people of their pride and their dignity. We can't allow our government to create a dependent society that robs us of that pride. We are the most charitable nation on the planet. We gave $300 billion to charity in 2010, and who knows how many countless millions of hours of our time. And the government thinks they can do it better than the Catholic Charities and the Red Cross and the soup kitchen and the shelters. We have to take our country back. We can't allow government to continue to form dependency on us. Our forefathers set us up for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life, for me, which is from conception through natural death. Liberty. Every time the government says they're going to, quote, protect us, what does that mean? That means they're going to take our freedoms away. And we're losing our freedoms in plain sight every day. Most of us don't even see it. We do because we're engaged. Most people don't even see it. To me, it's no clearer than in the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Is there anything that's unclear about that? No. I say lock up the few bad actors, the criminals, lock them up, but don't take away our freedoms because of the actions of a very few. And that principle goes across many, many issues. Let's look at business owners as an example. I, as a business owner, I take care of my customers every day. I take care of my employees. That's what we do. That's what business owners do. There's a few bad actors out there. Lock them up. Put them away. Address them. But don't saddle business owners, small business owners, with 40,000 rules and regulations because of the actions of a few. And the pursuit of happiness. Our founders set us up to pursue happiness. They never intended that government was supposed to be responsible for your happiness, or that the government was going to entitle you to happiness or write a check for your happiness. It's pursue happiness. And that's how we get satisfaction in our lives, is by rising up and doing our best. That's how you pursue happiness. So please stand with me on June 5th, the primary. I don't know if, how well aware you are, but there are 24 Senate candidates on the ballot. Dan Hughes is the one that I'm hoping that you'll choose. I will give everything I've got up and down the state of California to retire Dianne Feinstein. We have to engage and awaken people. Thank you all very much. Dan Hughes, U.S. Senate.
All right, is Brian Jones here yet? State Assembly. Okay. All right, and we're still waiting on Joel Anderson. All right, another congressional candidate, John Stahl, come up, please. John Stahl, running for another candidate running for 52nd District. John's on his way up, and we want to mention again the videos. Sick and Sicker. Kind of the antithesis of Michael Moron. I mean Michael Moore. Okay, here's John Stahl.
It's a great day to be alive in San Diego and on Armed Forces Day. The United States government, the United States Navy spent $2 million in 2 years to teach me how to be a Navy fighter pilot. My dad was in the Army Air Corps and taught RAF students how to fly. Many of them gave their lives over the skies of Europe during World War II to defend the liberties and benefits that we have today in the Western world. My platform is very straight and forward and simple. It's about federal spending, it's about jobs in the economy, and it's about leadership by example. But before I get into that, I'd like to thank the volunteers that helped me during the petition drive. You know, the choice they gave me was to get 3,000 signatures or pay $1,740 to get on the ballot. I'm a business guy. I got together with my volunteer team and we decided to get the signatures. We got more signatures in front of Home Depot, Target, Albertsons than the rest of the 9 candidates combined times 5. So if you want to send someone to Washington who knows how to effectively and efficiently look after your tax dollars, I'm the guy. I spent 32 years in the U.S. semiconductor business. I started when I got out of the Navy with Texas Instruments, and I worked my way up through sales channels to become Vice President of Worldwide Sales at Raytheon Semiconductor. We sold good chips to the Tomahawk cruise missile and the F-16. I've learned how to compete, I've learned how to have a fair fight. And I thought these primaries were about a fair fight and competition. I did not get the memo from the Republican establishment that said that these primaries were not to be open, competitive discussions on the issues. We have fantastic problems in this country, and if the incumbent wants to hide behind the wall of incumbency and dodge debates and not show up for events, then you guys shouldn't support them. My platform is federal spending. People say to me, how are you going to cut federal spending? Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to get rid of baseline budgeting. I don't understand baseline budgeting. Why do these bureaucracies get 7.5% more every year on autopilot? Something doubles in 10 years at that rate. It quadruples in 20. Let's get rid of spend or lose. Why do these bureaucracies think they have to spend the money or they give it back? That makes no sense at all. We haven't even been a country for 1 trillion seconds. And this federal debt, they're going to try to raise the debt ceiling another time. If you guys sit by and watch that happen, you deserve what you've gotten. And this is a mess. We've got to fix it. You've got to send some good quality people to Washington. I don't understand block grants. Why do we take $100 out of our left pocket, send it to Washington, and let them take a commission and send us back $82? There's a reason why 7 of the 10 wealthiest counties in this country surround Washington, D.C. It's career politicians. It's revolving door. It's go along to get along. It's inside baseball. It's bureaucracies. And if you guys don't stand up to this year, your kids, these younger people in this audience here, have no chance of paying back $23 trillion. I want to take that GAO report, Government Accountability Report. There's 1,500 duplicative, fragmented, ineffective programs at the federal level. And then I also want to use the 10th Amendment. My opponent, Brian Bilbray, says we need a balanced budget amendment. I say hogwash. The 10th Amendment to the Constitution was put there for a very good reason. A balanced budget amendment is nothing more than kick the can down the road for you. If you're not aware of what it takes to get an amendment to our Constitution, it's 2/3 of the House and Senate. It has to go out, 3/4 of the state have to approve it. That's an 8 to 10 year process at best. So that's how I'm going to cut federal spending. Now, I'll be the only Republican in a debate on ABC Channel 10 coming up. Bill Bray backed out of that. I have a radio show 5 nights a week on KCBQ. It's called Solutions for America. And I will tell you this, if your only motivation in this race is to defend the status quo, let me quote Ronald Reagan. He said that status quo is Latin for preserving the mess we're in. So if you want to preserve the status quo in this election, then you not only dishonor the legacy of Ronald Reagan, but you dishonor the sacrifice of the veterans who fought and died for the rights that you have in this country. I want your vote on June 5th. I'm a great candidate. I've been endorsed by the San Diego Tea Party, the 858 Tea Party. I'm the only congressional candidate in this race that was endorsed by iCaucus. I've got the endorsement of the National Women's Veterans Association. Anybody here that's a female veteran? Didn't show up today, huh? Okay, thank you very much. I'll be around for a little bit of time. We'll answer any of your questions. The radio show is every night, 7 o'clock, KCBQ. It's called Solutions for America. Thank you, and vote on June 5th.
Thank you, John. Okay, our next speaker is someone that I think you know very well. I've been told that this is Joel Anderson country. Is this Joel Anderson country? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, Joel Anderson, Senator, come talk to the group here.
Thank you very much. What a privilege. Tea Party, man. It's always a privilege to represent you in Sacramento. You know, a lot of people run for election today, this month, and it's really important that we all turn out. Help the candidates that we believe are going to do a great job. But I'm coming before you for a different reason. I need your help today on legislation. I need you to help me keep California accountable. And right now, what we're looking at is Caltrans, all the Caltrans employees, over 20,000 of them, you divided them by their benefits and their salaries. Each and every one of them, on average, makes over $100,000. In fact, they make $104,000. That doesn't include the cost of retirement or the lifetime health care. If you were to take a snapshot right now, they make $237,000. That's outrageous. If you looked at the budget they have, it's between $12 and $15 billion per year over the last 5 years. When you think back about how many miles of road have either been repaired or built in the last 5 years, it's fewer than 1,000 miles. We can do better, and we deserve better. I just want to go through a couple few stats with you because I think it's just so outrageous of what's going on. One is the Legislative Analyst Office, which is a nonpartisan office that does audits. It says there's 1,500 Caltrans workers who have no job assignment. They simply show up to work and get a cup of coffee and sit down. There's no place for them to work, they don't have a job for them, and yet if you go to their website, they have over 200 job postings set up on the website. Over the last 2 years, we had an audit come out last summer, and the audit said that Caltrans was $300 million over budget on all their projects, and it was directly associated to the 40% pay rate that they received. So here we're cutting education, we're cutting all these things, we're coming back to taxpayers, and my colleagues are saying that they don't have enough money. They don't have enough of your money for education, but they do have enough money to get 40% pay hikes. This is absolutely outrageous, and what I'm trying to do is put pressure on the governor to be accountable to the taxpayers. He wants that military service from us in this next election, but he's refused to be a good steward of our money. So I'm trying to put pressure on him. I think that the days of us building roads with golden shovels should come to an end, and I can't get there without your help. So we've got petitions over in my tent. Thank you. Over at my tent, I'd like for you to stop by and fill out a petition and be part of our team to help turn California around. And I just want to go through a couple quick items. So Caltrans built a brand new building on Taylor Street. It cost us $86 million. That's the cost of 3.5 elementary schools. And if you look at it, you think it's an art museum. It's so beautiful. Okay. So, when you look at this, it's absolutely outrageous. We're going to have these over there, so come by and take a look at it. But just think in terms of $86 million in this economy, they could have purchased any city block downtown San Diego and all the buildings on it for that same price. But with their corporate ego and what they think that they deserve on our backs is absolutely outrageous. So you can come and see that. Then we had 2 years ago, we had 2 Caltrans workers go to a seminar in the desert, and they stayed at this high-end paradise in the desert. It cost us $72,000 for them to spend 2 nights and 3 days there. You know, I don't see how that builds roads. I don't see how that builds infrastructure. And if you travel the state wall between Bakersfield and Stockton, either on the 99 or the 5, if you've done that in the last 5 years, you realize you're driving on the left-hand side of the road because the right-hand side is impossible to drive there without having communication shots. This is outrageous. They turned our highway system into a banana republic, and we deserve better. I'm trying to take it back. I'm just one guy. But if you all sign up and help me, we're all of California. So with that, I ask for your help. We got to push forward. We got to get good people elected, and then after they get elected, we have to hold them accountable. And I appreciate you being here today and making a difference. God bless America. Thank you.
Well, I was one of the fortunate ones. With the redistricting, I got to keep Duncan Hunter Jr., so I am just very, very, very happy about that. Maggie Acera, come on up. Duncan Hunter Jr. is next. And Steve Johnson, come on up. You're after Maggie Acera. So I have the great fortune of introducing Duncan Hunter Jr. I've always found him very responsive, personable, and I'm glad he's my congressman. Duncan Hunter Jr. Hey, good afternoon. Hey, folks.
Yeah, Duncan!
Hey, first, it's been an honor to represent you. I got elected in 2008, and I'm your congressman right now. They've redistricted some stuff, so Nick Popovich is running for everything west of Magnolia, and I'm running for everything east of Magnolia. So let me just put a big plug for Nick Popovich, too. There's his tent back there, and he's right there. Gunny Pop, great American, great Marine, make a great congressman. I need teammates in Congress. It takes 218 of us to do anything in the House of Representatives, and we're getting there. So let me just focus on a few things. Number one, the economy. We are an import nation.
Until we are an export nation, until we manufacture American goods again, and we quit the regulatory structure that suppressed companies, especially in California, and we actually make things again, we're never going to get out of this down economy. We import more than almost every industrialized nation in the world. We need to start exporting. We got to start making stuff again. You can't have an economy based off Starbucks. You got to make stuff. Number two, national security. You know, a lot of folks that are running against me, and you hear some other people talking, they think we can pull in. The problem is the world's a zero-sum game. If the United States pulls in, countries like China and North Korea and Iran move into that area. And I'll tell you, the closer that they get to our shores, the more at risk we are. So I think that is a role of the federal government, is to protect us as American citizens by sending out expeditionary forces, projecting our power, making other countries stand with us, protecting freedom throughout the world like Ronald Reagan did. The second important part of what the national government's here to do is protect our borders. I know there's a big libertarian swing in the Tea Party. I think it's good. I voted for quite a few of Ron Paul's bills. Libertarians don't believe in border security. You can't have a welfare state like California and have open borders and expect it to succeed. You have to have secure borders, and you can only have secure borders if the federal government steps up and secures those borders.
Right.
Healthcare. We are stopping in Congress, and have been for the last 3 years, stopping them from getting Obamacare through. We have defunded it every chance we get, and we hope and pray that the Supreme Court does its job coming up in a month and a half. But if not, we're going to get that Republican Senate, and we're going to repeal Obamacare.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if Obama stays in office, it's not going to be repealed. It's not going to be repealed. We have to get somebody other than Obama in office. And let me tell you what, I did not endorse anybody for president until Santorum and Gingrich got out of the race. Guess who I support now? Romney, 100%. Ron Paul basically dropped out of the race too. We have to win the election. Is Romney the greatest guy in the world? No.
But at least he's not a communist.
But we have to beat this president. We have to beat this president. It is the number one thing. I don't know if you saw what Obama said to President, or to Medvedev, to tell Vladimir Putin. He says, let me get reelected one more time and I'll have some space to negotiate with you. This is incredible. Here's what we've had, folks. We're at the end of the entitlement period. We've had 50 years of entitlements. 50 years. I'm 35 years old. I've been in Congress for 3 years. Some of my opponents are part of the generation that did not fight what we have right now. They watched and they watched and they watched and they watched, and now we're at this cliff that we're at right now. The buck's got to stop at some point. The entitlement system is completely and totally broke. It's done. So it's time to move on to something new, and you do have a new majority in the House of Representatives that says the buck stops here. For the second time in modern history, in like the last 50 years, we've decreased spending from year to year. Did we do all that we should have done? No. Did we turn things around in 1 year? No, we did not. But for the first time in 50 years, we finally said we're going to cut spending the next year, and we did it. But more has to be done. We need more conservatives in Congress. I would ask you for your vote. I would thank you for your support, and thank him for his support. And God bless all of you for coming out here today. There's a lot of other things to do on a Saturday. Thanks for being here. Thank you for having me and letting me speak. Appreciate it.
Where's Penny at?
Thank you, Duncan. That was great. Okay, our next speaker is Maggie Sarah. She's a local here. Yeah, do I hear some? Yeah, hooray for Maggie. She's a candidate for city council, and we sure hope that she gets that spot. We sure hope that she gets that spot. And Maggie does a lot of stuff. First of all, she's one of the contributors to this Tea Party today. So she's actually got some skin in the game for the Tea Party here. And then also, she's on the Santee Republican Women Federated. She does a great job helping out over there with speakers and that. And then also, she's the San Diego Tea Party coordinator. Let's give a big hand for Maggie Sarah. Maggie.
San Diego County Tea Party Forum, and I am on the ballot in November for the Santee City Council. I am here today to talk to you about the June ballot, though, June 5th. On that ballot only, is your chance to elect your new Central Committee members for your various districts. This year we have 18 Tea Party endorsed candidates running in the various districts. Some of you, I've handed out some lists for you. I ran around, handed out the flyers. They're over here at the RWF booth. I have a bunch more here. Before you vote, know who you're voting for your Central Committee candidates. Your Central Committee representative represents you in your political party. You want to know why you don't have any information? Why is this done this way? How come no one's listening to me? This is why you vote for your Tea Party endorsed Central Committee candidate. We have 18 this time on the ballots. 18 Central Committee members from the Tea Party also equal 18 Tea Party alternates. We all have to have an alternate. 36 Tea Party people will be walking into the San Diego County GOP in December when we take our oath. It is very important for you to know who to vote for. Our list is over here. This is something that's very, very important. I know we look at the Congress, the Assembly District, we're worried about the props, but you also want to know how come when no one's listening to you in your party, where are we getting these candidates? This is where it starts. You endorse candidates, endorse propositions, you get feedback from the voters, we bring you into the GOP meetings every month, we get you to meet people, meet candidates, meet your representatives. This is a very important vote for you. You'll get a list that just says Central Committee, and you'll look at it and you'll say, I don't know these people. So to pick up that list, and you'll know who the Tea Party people are. And also this Wednesday, May 23rd at Andres on Marina Boulevard is our Tea Party meeting. The Central Committee candidates will be there if you'd like to meet them, along with Carl DeMaio, Dan Hughes, and also John Stahl will be there. So hopefully, if you'd like to meet them in person, if they're not all here today, you can come down Wednesday evening at Andres at 6 o'clock and talk to everyone down there. Once again, I'm Maggie Acera, June ballot, Central Committee, 71st Assembly District, November ballot, Santee City Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maggie. Okay, the next candidate, Steve Johnson from the Lakeside Tea Party. He's running for the Water Board, and let me just make an editorial note here. Steve Johnson has done a lot with the Tea Parties. He's helped us out a lot here at the East County Tea Party, and then he's a regular participant at the Tea Party Coalition, where the Tea Party leaders get together and talk about what needs to get done here in San Diego. So with that, let me introduce Steve Johnson.
Thank you. Well, I'm a candidate, but it's going to be in November, not in June. And if you live in Lakeside, then that'll mean a lot to you. Well, I am representing the Lakeside Tea Party today. And can you say this? Can you say lakesideteaparty.com? You got to go. It's a great website. Hopefully you'll remember that. Okay. It's very difficult to follow some of these fabulous candidates that have been up here, congressmen, state senators, Maggie. It's really tough to do. But I do want to tell you that certainly they've outlined some large problems on the national level, on the state level. But I just need to make sure that you know that those bad decisions happen on the very lowest of level. At the Lakeside Tea Party, we're going to be focusing on the lower offices, the school board, fire board, water board, planning board. That's really our focus. And if other candidates, state senators, or U.S. congressmen are benefited by the work that we do on the local level, then that's fantastic. But that's what we're about. Two more things. One, our Lakeside Tea Party, we meet once a month. We're going to be meeting this Thursday at Cafe 67 at 6 o'clock. And hopefully you can make it. And I just want to share, the last thing I want to share with you is something that I heard about a week ago. Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky said something that really stuck out of my mind, and it's a principle that guides me when I'm making decisions on the Lakeside Water Board that I'm on. He said that there's a sickness out there that needs more than political leadership. It needs spiritual leadership. He goes on to say, I tend not to wear my faith on my sleeve, but I do see decisions that the government makes almost always in moral terms. And boy, that's so important. I mean, right and wrong. And so when somebody wants to run for office, to me, their qualifications, what they do for a living, or whatever, none of that's important. They just need to be strong, moral, integrity. That's what they need to be about. And so I'd encourage you in the November election, because it's too late to sign up now, but I'd encourage everybody at this event to consider running for office. Consider running for office. The best person that's going to represent you at the city council, Congress, wherever, is you. LakesideTeaParty.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. All right, if you all could bring up the rest, we passed out those ballots for presidential candidate. If you could bring the rest of those up, because I do want to make an announcement by the end of the rally. Okay, we're moving on. We've got the fortune of hearing from Mike Benoit, candidate for Congress 50th District. Mike Benoit.
Thank you. I'm the Ron Paul candidate from the 50th Congressional District. That would be the constitutional candidate. That would be the candidate that believes that we have inalienable rights and that government is supposed to secure these rights, not violate them, with things like the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, that makes it possible for the government to throw us in prison without right of habeas corpus, trial by jury. And it just came from the Cajon Tea Party event where Duncan Hunter lied about me after I spoke, he spoke, and that lie was that I want open borders. Because I want the United States military to defend our border and not the border between Pakistan and Iran. That doesn't mean I want open borders. And the same thing, he made a comment about legalizing drugs. I don't use drugs, don't smoke cigarettes. I'm not a drug advocate, but I want to legalize freedom and keep the federal government into the confines of the Constitution. We want to fix Washington. You don't fix Washington by sending the guys that are going to continue the same policies. Maybe you need to build a wall around Washington and we can fix that place finally. We don't need to brag about maybe not increasing the budget for 1 year when the deficit is $1.5 trillion, a $15.5 trillion current debt for the United States. When Duncan Hunter Sr. came into office, the federal debt was $900 billion. Now it's $15.5 trillion. The federal budget was $590 billion. Now it's almost $4 trillion. So this is the growth of government. Duncan Hunter just blamed people in our generation for this. He ought to be given some kudos to his father for giving him something he wouldn't have otherwise, and that is being the congressman for this district. I want to debate Duncan Hunter in the general election. I want to be, if you favor Duncan Hunter, that's fine, but I'd like you to vote for me in this primary election, so we can have a real contest for November. You know, somebody who's a champion of the Constitution to duke it out in battle with somebody who maybe isn't. My idea of the Second Amendment is one gun law. That's the Second Amendment. I would work to repeal every other gun law that violates our rights, including the 1,000-yard zone, free zone, gun school free zone, and any of these laws that violate our right to keep and bear arms. Tea Party people, I'm not just taxed enough already. I'm taxed way too much. So are you. This debt has to be eliminated. Our children are sold into slavery. This is transgenerational slavery. Thomas Jefferson said, when you borrow in the name of funding, you're swindling futurity. We have a Federal Reserve banking system that pays the bills now by printing money, destroying the value of everything you have in your pocket,
destroying your Social Security and retirement checks with inflation at the gas pump and inflation at the grocery store, and it's only going to get worse. So please consider voting for me in the primary, and you can still have Duncan Hunter in there in the general, and let's have a real contest. Thank you.
Okay, that was great. Let's see, now we're going to get into the final part here, and we have a few local candidates, and we don't have them specifically on the schedule. We figured that any of the local candidates that were here running for something may be able to get a shout out or be able to be pointed out. And for example, Mr. Bakir, we'll ask Mr. Bakir to come a little bit closer to the front here. Mr. Bakir, come on up a little closer to the yellow tape here. Okay. All right, let me just point out Mr. Imad Bakir. He's running for Rosemont Healthcare District. You can get a chance to talk to Mr. Bakir, and he can tell you what his position is, and then he's been very supportive of us here at the East County Tea Party. Additionally, we have Pam Hendrickson is here. She's running for the Central Committee for the 79th area, and let me go ahead and introduce her. Here, Pam, go ahead and talk to us.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon. I'm Pamela Hendrickson, and I'm running for the new 79th Central Committee. I'm very happy that you guys have given me the opportunity to speak. But more than anything, I want to say I am so proud to be here with our Tea Party, because you guys are such fine Americans. Now, a little bit about myself. I spent 20 years in the United States Navy. I retired in 2004. Thank you very much. And I want everybody to take a look at what's going on in our country. You know, the Democratic Party, and let me tell you, they're Democrats, because there's nothing democratic about the Democrat Party. They have done a very good job of rewriting history. The Democrat Party wants to make us out to be racist. Well, let me tell you, the Tea Party and people out here, we are not racist. We are Americans who believe in our country. We want to take back our country from those who are the racists. Let me tell you, it was the Democrats that is the party of segregation. It was not a Republican that said segregation now, segregation forever. It was the Democrats. But they have done a really good job of rewriting the history and not letting our children know. Now, as I look out here, I see people that I know you have grandchildren, I know you have college students, and these kids are being brainwashed right now into believing that, oh, it's cool to vote for Obama. Oh, you know, we can't he's gonna take care of us and give us all kinds of student loans. Well, you know what, here in California, the reason that we are in such bad shape is because we've given, let's just go ahead and call it like it is, illegals free in-state tuition. Hello? I don't understand how we can, as a state, keep doing this. We cannot afford 4 more years of Barack Obama. When he took office, gas was at $1.89. Right now, our new normal is $4. This is what he has done. You can tell we need to rewrite our tax code, because anytime you're an exceptional person and making money, guess what he wants to do? He's made it so bad with the taxes that somebody has to renounce their citizenship and move to Singapore to take their money to Singapore. That should tell you that we need to do something about our tax codes. I am not running for
a state or a city seat. I'm running for the Central Committee, and I am damn proud to be an American and working for Duncan Hunter and for Joel Anderson and for Gunny Popovich and Jim Miller and all Wayne Iverson and all those who are out there fighting the good fight. So I would only ask and urge all of you guys, talk to your kids, talk to your grandkids, make sure that they're not doing the Animal Farm, you know, and listening to those professors who are making the six-figure retirement salaries, and listening to those limousine liberals from Hollywood who want to say, oh, 4 more years of Obama. Please tell your kid, absolutely not. We do not need any more Barack Obama. So you guys have a good day. My name is Pamela Hendrickson. I'm running for a Central Committee of the 79, the new 79.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't think I'm in the 79th, but she would have my vote, doggone it. I've got all the presidential ballots back, and you know, it's very clear. You guys get it. Romney, we are going to formally endorse Mitt Romney today. Barack Obama must be defeated. You guys get it. That's what all your ballots show. So we're coming to the closing remarks, and are there any other local candidates that would like to come up and speak to kind of close things down? We always want to recognize as many local candidates as possible. Otherwise, we will have closing remarks. Wayne, did you want to say anything else?
Yes, what I wanted to say was thank you everyone so much for coming, and thank you for being so supportive of the East County Tea Party. Once again, the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons was very happy to donate funds to help make this possible, and there were a lot of other people who donated funds to make this possible. If you get a chance, we have DVDs on sale for $20 each. Buying them would help to defer some of the expenses, and after that we're going to dig into our pockets a little bit. But thank you very much for coming. You had a lot of good candidates come through. A lot of the candidates are actually running for some of the same offices, and they have a little bit of a different perspective on things. Find your candidate who resonates with you, who represents the ideas that you have. Do all you can to support them financially, support them with other types of activities like going out and walking precincts and helping with mailers and things like that. All of this makes for a better election and for us to have a better group of candidates, not only win in the June 5th primary, but then go on and win in the November elections. This year, the elections are extremely important, and so thank you once again for attending, and with that, I think we'll end with Barry has one more thing.
Okay, a lot of the volunteers, again, I have mentioned that we will have one more Tea Party rally before the election. It should be probably the last Saturday in September, so stay tuned. Give us your email address at the table where Robert Linderman is, so we can stay in touch with you. Thanks very much for coming. Celebration time.